So it's always good to check your disciplines to see if there's anything that can come into play. Let's see, hawk hunter, hunting, weapons. He's got, yeah, this broadsword and bow. Tracking. Ooh, we could do some tracking, camouflage, healing, 6 cents. And then Storm Sparrow. I think he's got roughly similar skills. Hunting, mind over matter, tracking, animal kinship. She could do her animal kinship if all else fails, but we'll do it the more practical way and search their bodies. And then these are the initial disciplines from heroes. I think I stated this already, but it's from the Heroes of Magnamund book. And it's kind of tucked under my bookshelf pretty good, so maybe I'll put a graphic of it later over here or something like that. But Icebound, Ice Archery, Ferocity, Bone Master, War Scream. So I think the War Scream can paralyze somebody and give you an advantage or give you a bonus, something like that. I got them all listed on the other side here, which I can go over. Pretty cool. But I'm going to keep things moving along. So I found my Mythic one-pager. It was in my Star Frontiers book. So let's go. They search the bodies of these men, these bandits, and do they find anything of interest that will help them on their quest for more information. So we'll say, let's see, I'll say it's likely. I'll leave it at that. So I got to get 14 to 65. Oh, that's pretty high up. 89. No. Nothing. So it was just random. And there's nothing, they have no monies on them. Hence why they're attempting to rob our heroes. Because there's nothing that'll help them on the quest. Unfortunate. So, Hawk and Storm, they were going to go back to the monastery with their captives and get some information out of them. And they explain that to Cronin, and they ask if he would like to go with them. And I'll give him a little bit of a roll. I'll say okay. I'd say since he's looking for answers himself, I'll say it's nearly certain he's going to go with them. Although he's a bit of a loner, so there's always that possibility that he wants to kind of go his own way. Oh my gosh. 95, no. He doesn't. Again, it's that loner nature. So he wants to continue his own path going south, and so that brings him to kind of a conflict. So what to do to keep things moving along? Because I want to keep them together because there's an adventure about them being together, but it makes things interesting because there's more of a personality struggle, conflict between these two. Solo, loner, and team player. But they have these, guys tied up, and they want to get some. They're not going to just leave them on their horse all day. So they're going to. Hawk Hunter says, "Well, my barbarian friend, we need to bring them in for questioning, and perhaps we'll meet up further down the trail, down the path." And Cronin agrees. He's like, "Yes, I'll be searching for my own answers in the meantime. If you find me further south, we shall meet again. And he goes south. So they split up, party splits, and they go into the monastery to question these guys, and to turn into put them in some kind of a holding cell, or some kind of, where they'll be brought to the authorities. And these guys were, again, they went to go to an abandoned tower and investigate, and they found that these people were taking over the tower, and they were basically they were attacked because they were asking too many questions, and the tower had been non-operational as a guard tower up until that point. So let's see what answers they get. So they're being questioned, and do these people that are waking up, do they cooperate? Okay, I'll say it's 50-50, since they're outnumbered by the Kai. They still have that hesitancy. They don't, I'll give them 50-50 at least. So do they? No. 78. They will not talk. And it's not really the way of the Kai necessarily to threaten. But these two are outnumbered. So they won't talk. So I would say, due to them being attacking our heroes that were meant to investigate the tower, I'll say, does the Kai bring them to the authorities at least? The Kai at the monastery. I'll say it's very likely. I mean, there's still some, it's not like 100% guilty, but they definitely side with the Kai, their own over these people. So very likely. Do they turn them over to the authorities? Exceptional, yes. So yeah, they're turned over to the authorities to be picked up and put into jail and questioned by the authorities. So in the meantime, Cronin, Hawk Hunter and Storm Sparrow, they decide to follow Cronin because he seems to have more. He had that lead of that emblem, of that circle emblem, and he told them about it from apparently it was from a staff that he found that after fighting a kind of a sorcerer type person, and like a battle sorcerer. So there, with not much leads to go on, they decide to go out back south and to find Cronin, and so they can get more information out of him and hopefully work together. So that's the end of that scene. So I'll write that scene down. And that'll get them back on the path of adventure. I'll write this down. See, just very limited amount of space to write on. So, Hawk and Storm. Turn in prisoners. And get no answers. Get no answers from them. Tight-lipped. They plead the fifth. And they decide to follow Cronin. Find and follow Cronin. Okay, so that's a good setup for the next scene. So again, these would be the chaos factor. I would say the chaos would be going down at that point. But I'm not going to be doing that because I don't want to do alternate scenes and interrupt scenes. I just want to do it. That's what this one-page Mythic wants you to just do it pretty much, you know, by this. No. Only time you get a chaos or random events when you get doubles. Okay, when you roll against this here. So, yeah, we'll go on to scene 3. Keep on solo question. Thanks for watching, and see you next for part 3, or not part 3, but scene 3. All right. Okay, so our heroes, Hawk and Storm, they are back on the path, and they're going to talk, or at least try to talk to Cronin. And I'm going to ask Mythic right away, are they able to reasonably find him after probably spending at least 20 to 30 minutes at the monastery trying to get answers out of the prisoners there. So let's see. Let's see. So I'll say 50-50. Probably likely, but 50-50. Exceptional, yes. Alright, that's a 0-3, which is between 1 and 2. So I guess not only do they find him, they run into him, maybe they find him in the middle of a type of clue. And let's see what that clue is. So let's see if we can put something together here. 79. Sometimes this can be tricky though. Let's see, obstacle. Okay. That's the action. I should have done description first. Alright, 57. Modern. A modern obstacle. Let's see. So what that could be some kind of a carriage. Maybe he's about to I can't imagine him boarding a ride on a carriage. Maybe he's talking to somebody, or he stopped somebody on a carriage. Let's roll a little bit more. $25. I'll go with description first. Empty. Okay, that gives me something. 93. Stop. Okay, the action stopped. So, yeah. Cronin here has stopped a caravan. And what was the other one? He found it empty. Maybe he was searching for, maybe he thought he saw one of his enemies that he encountered. And he might have forced the rider to stop the carriage. And I'm going to say, yeah, that's where it's going. So if we find him in the middle of that. So Hawk and Storm, they go up to him and they ask him what happened, you know. And is it like I said? I say it's very likely. That's what I came up with. That's what it is. And that's an 89. No. Alright, so no, it wasn't about that. Well, let's see. What else could it have been about? See, this gets a little... It gets a little tricksy here. Was he trying to... was he... maybe he thinks that the writer is no good. Maybe the writer is connected somehow, this caravan rider, to somebody that, some enemy. I'd say it's kind of unlikely, but let's roll it. No. So that's not it either. So this gets a little tricky. So let me see if I can use a tool here to kind of clear things up. I also have some cards that I made, but I think I misplaced those. I'm going to have to look for them and use them as an aid later. So let's do story cubes. Let me do... Let's do this right here. See what I can come up with. These are mostly just actions. Nothing too supernatural. Digging. That could imply some kind of buried treasure. Kicking. And walking. Kicking something. He's digging for information. Okay, I think I got this. Cronin is walking, and he's just kind of kicking things around in his head, and he's digging for information. So he's interrogating this writer to see if he's seen anything strange and anything with a circular emblem on anyone. So that's what he's explaining. And then Hawk and Storm say, hey, well, we couldn't get any information out of our prisoners. So that says a lot about the people that they're possibly working for, if they are. And so we continue further south. Let's see here, I got a map around here. So what road are we on? That's a different. So let's see. So we're on the main road here going south. Kai Monastery. So probably we're going south. Probably right here through Fogwood. Or going that way. But southeast. Let's say southeast. We're going southeast. Alright, it's just the road that goes from here to the main road. The one that leads towards Holmgard. Okay, so we decide to follow him in search of clues, in search of answers. And, well, we can use our abilities. Storm Sparrow has her animal kinship, and she decides to talk to the animals. I'd say, are there any squirrels around? Let's see. Let's see if there are. I'd say it's very likely. 77 doubles. But it's a no. So there's no squirrels, but we have a random event. All right, let's see what we get here. 63. Natural. Competition. So there's something else that's natural. Are there other adventurers? Natural competition. Other people on this road. So this can turn into like a bit of an encounter, I guess. So I'll ask, is that? I'd say it's... I'll say it's unlikely. I think it's unlikely that you run into adventurers on the road. Maybe other people of other job titles, but adventurers are a rare breed. So no, not adventurers. Natural competition. I'm going to say, I'm going to go with this, maybe a traveling merchant. We run into them. Maybe we can get some information from this merchant. So that would be like a new NPC. And he's coming down the road and we decide to stop him. But I'm going to have Storm... Hawk's gonna talk to the merchandiser, and then Storm's going to talk to. She's gonna do her animal kinship. What is animal kinship? Well, let me look it up here. So, this discipline enables you to communicate with some animals and be able to guess the intentions of others. In some cases, it can allow you to control an animal's instincts or actions. Normally, this is advanced. Animal only allows basic communication, less level of skill. You can only actually converse with animals enough to get detailed information. That's advanced, but she just has regular animal kinship. So, I'm trying to remember, I think you get... with the skills or the disciplines, I don't think it's necessarily an automatic thing. I think it's, let's see here. Yeah, you get a +1. Let's see. Choose 2 skills besides each skill chosen, right? Oh, okay. That's for, I think that's different. Let's see. Traits. Choose 2 traits from that trait section. Each trait may only be taken once unless noted. And those are all disciplines. Yeah, so traits are right here. Keen senses, wild bond. Okay. Those are her personal traits. But disciplines. Well, I don't really have that. Let's see. Test. Assign a number and meet or beat that number to pass a test. Same for skill tests, but include any modifiers from skills that pertain to that test. So I'd say, without having to look at the rules real quick, they're usually assigned a 6, but I'm going to give her a +1, which will lower that to a 5 since she's got a discipline in it. Let's see what happens. No, totally fails. She can't find any animals in which to converse with. So it's up to Hawk to talk to the merchant. So I'd say that's the end of that scene, and we'll start the next scene. So I'm going to write down what happened, because that was a pretty big scene. Hawk, Storm, find Cronin, questioning, a rider for info. Hawk finds a merchant. And I'll put but Storm fails. Her kinship test. Okay, so that leads to scene 4, which will be a trigger. Okay, and that trigger is right here, under triggers. I should underline that. Separate these a bit so they stand out more. Scene 4, it's a clue. It's a clue. So on the characters, I should put merchant, rider, and then prisoners or suspects, but they're being detained, hopefully. And that's it for now for the characters. So let's see what this merchant says. And this is going to be a major clue. So Hawk talks to the merchant, and he says all the usual stuff like, "Oh, adventurers, yes, check all my equipment. See, they are the best prices. I tell you, the best." This is where a good NPC generator would come in handy. I don't have one offhand. Let's see if I can roll something. Let's see, I'll do an immersion dice with the story dice. Alright, he likes to talk. And he wants to get everybody involved. He's talking to everybody. "Step right up. I have something for all of you. The barbarian, yes? You're all adventurers. I have something for all of you. The best prices." And so we look, you know, and, you know, right now we seem to have enough for what our quest is. And so Hawk says, "Yes, my good fellow. We are looking for any strangeness. Have you seen any strangeness on the roads? Any and then Cronin steps in and he says, "Have you seen anyone with a circular emblem on their sleeve or on their staff, like a circle, a perfect circle?" And let's see what he says. And first of all, I'll ask Mythic, does he? And I say, well, since it's a clue, I'll just say, okay, he does. Since the trigger is a clue, it's moving the adventure and the story along. So let's see what it is. So it's an automatic yes. 59. So 59. Mundane. Okay, that's not helping us really. 51. Gain. He says, nothing but the coming and going of the summer winds. the summer winds that spare us from all this heat. And perhaps I might know more. And he kind of suggests that we give him a little bit of gold, or some kind of gift, or of some kind, and see how much money we got. And Cronin is just like, he crosses his arms. But someone's got to play the game here. Well, let's see. So Hawk will say, okay, what has he got here? By the way, I know they're all leveled up. I've already played a couple adventures with them, so they should probably be the next rank by now, but I'm holding that off for one more adventure, which is this one. Let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I don't have anything on his belt pouch. So maybe he spent all his... Oh, here we go, 29. Alright, so he gives him 5 gold. That's really good. That's tremendous. So that would be 24. Again, on the spot here. On the spot. Okay, so he gives him some gold. And maybe he purchases something smaller. Maybe he purchases a... Well, I'll look at the equipment list later on, but he says, okay, I shall tell you this. All right, 49. Large, all right. $86. Positive. He's positive that he's seen a large what? I have seen a large group of people, a gathering. I'd say it's very likely. Yes. A large group of gathering of... Perhaps I might have seen an emblem on one of their arms. Perhaps. It seemed strange. It seemed like they were having a kind of a meeting of sorts. Okay. Let's roll a bit more. What else? What else, merchant? Right, 39. Heavy. Character. Heavy. Maybe they were moving something. They were moving something heavy. Was it a weapon? Would you say, was some sort of heavy weapons they were exchanging? I'd say it's likely. And that is 10. Yes, an exceptional yes. Yes. That's it. Some sort of exchanging of some sort of weapon. And Hawk asked, was it a mundane kind of weapon, or was it something out of the ordinary? Was it out of the ordinary? I'll say 50-50. No. No. Mundane large weapons. Was it something to lay siege? Was it a siege level weapon? I'll say it's very likely. 29. Yes. So they're exchanging a group of people with emblems. He's not sure, and Cronin really grills him. Or is it sure? And he explains the emblem that he saw. Did they have the circle on any of their weapons or clothing? Let's say it's likely. 73. No, that I did not see, and nor do I remember. So it could be he witnessed some kind of exchange, some kind of merchant, evil merchants exchange, or some kind of siege weapon. Do you know the direction in which they went afterwards? Did they go towards Homegard, which is the next huge capital? I'd say it's likely. Yes, they went the direction of Homegard. That's it. Cronin goes, What is Homegard? I've heard stories, but only in name only, not really. I've heard of this Homegard, but I do not know much of it. And Storm, she says, well, it is a major city just south east of here. It's along the road, and it shall intersect with the main road. And Cronin says, perhaps we should go further southeast. And Hawk agrees. And then with that, he gives thanks to the merchant, and he buys a small item, smaller than what it would go for, because the tip for the information is big. So I'll jot that down. Took a little while to get all that going, but there it is. So they spot a merchant who tells them a group exchanging a siege weapon. As they head towards Homegard. Now this could be a false lead. It could just be some people that are working for the king are working, it could be just some people that were hired to get a weapon for the king. But it's a lead, and they're going to follow it. So I'll see you back here in the next video. I'll do scene 5 and scene 6. And thanks for watching, and keep on solo questing.